Hello, Internet, and welcome to Retronic Relics, the show where I give you my 2-bit opinion on these 8 through 32-bit relics. Today, I'm traveling to Planet Builder, where I take on a test of strength more deadly than Mortal Kombat. More technical than Street Fighter Alpha 2, and way more regarded than Ultra Vortec.
Annihilation time.
Okay, maybe not that regarded. Introducing Cho Aniki Bakuretsu Ranto-hen, developed by Masaya, published by NCS Corp, and released in 1995 for the Super Famicom. Cho Aniki Bakuretsu Ranto-hen is the last game in the Cho Aniki series to be developed by Masaya, breaking away from the proven shoot-'em-up roots of its forebearers to punch, kick, and flex its way into the fighting game genre. It was billed as the fighting game that won't let you down, and as the first ever aerial combat game featuring 8-way movement across the entire screen.
Cho Aniki Bakuretsu Ranto-hen は無重力空間で繰り広げられる史上初の空中浮遊対戦格闘アクションゲームだ。キャラクターが無重力空間に浮遊しながら8方向移動マルチ格闘を画面全体に繰り広げる。これまでのあらゆる常識を打破。この世界での格闘には地面の上で戦うという概念はない。
Never heard of it. Is it any good?
It's complicated. The story of Cho Aniki Bakuretsu Ranto-hen follows Ida-ten, one of the 2 protagonists from the first Cho Aniki, and the strongest man on Planet Builder. Ida-ten has been so preoccupied with training for the planet's annual bodybuilding contest that he's failed to notice that it's been reworked into the first ever Tenkaichi Butoukan, hosted by Planet NCS Super Masaya. When asked for comment, Ida-ten replied that he hadn't been reading the newspaper lately, so he didn't know. However, due to his pride as a bodybuilder and the fact that he already paid the entrance fee, he is fired up, and he can't afford to lose no matter what kind of competition it is.
What a story, Mark.
Like most fighting games, the story is just a thinly veiled excuse to bring a bunch of weirdos together to slap each other around. But if you've seen my other Cho Aniki videos, you already know that the story isn't what puts oiled up, well-defined butts in seats when it comes to these games. So what do you think does?
Something gay, no doubt.
Like its presentation, which is exactly what I would expect from a Cho Aniki game. Big, lavish character sprites over artful yet ridiculous backgrounds depict the game's over-the-top body humor and tongue-in-cheek innuendo, painting a beautifully surreal picture in oils and sweats.
Just beat the devil out of it.
The biggest complaint that I can levy against the presentation is that there simply isn't enough of it. Now, I can forgive the meager roster of 8 fighters because everyone beyond Samson, Add-on, Mommy 19, and Adam is really a bonus. It's the lack of backgrounds that betray the fact that this game skipped leg day. Though, really, who needs legs in a game where you float in the air exclusively?
Be more funny!
It's generally the best practice to have 1 background per contestant in your fighting game. You know, someplace each of your 8 champions can call home. Having 5 stages and 8 characters with 0 end bosses and a static character portrait with the credits rolling over it for the endings makes the experience feel somewhat incomplete. Now, I had a similar problem in the first entry in the Street Fighter Alpha series. While each character had their own theme song, the game only featured 6 unique locales for its 13 fighters, which made it feel more like a prototype for its successor than a complete game. The lack of locales probably wouldn't have been as apparent if you didn't change locations between rounds, which also breaks the flow of the game, but that's just my opinion. Moving on from visual stimuli to audible, for a series that's known for its music, it would have been nice to have unique backing tracks for all of the contestants and maybe a higher energy version of Shanghai Power Slam. No, seriously, listen to both versions of this song and tell me which one sounds like it hasn't had its V8 today. I guess that's why they call the TurboGrafx 16.
The higher energy video game system.
Sure, you don't have CD audio, but that shouldn't affect the pace of the music. None of these tracks have the high-energy, fist-pumping splendor of Cho Aniki's soundtrack, and it brings the experience down for me. Yeah, maybe they slowed the music to match the overall gameplay experience because everything else feels slower too.
Let's see how she handles.
The appeal of the Cho Aniki series hinges on visuals and a story that can't be taken seriously, paired with genuinely thoughtful mechanics and fun gameplay. That's what separates a bakage from a kusoge. But does this game strike that balance?
Let's find out.
As I mentioned before, battles in Cho Aniki Bakuretsu Ranto-hen take place exclusively in midair, something you really didn't see in fighting games before this. It plays a little bit like Psychic Force meets Dragon Ball Z Legends. The latter shares a similar mechanic with Bakuretsu Ranto-hen, a power meter. In DBZ Legends, you charge how you'd think you would. However, in Cho Aniki, you dance.
そしてこれこそ誰もが待っていた目を見張る鍛え抜かれた肉体によるシェイクダウンス十字ボタンをぐるぐるキャラがうねうねシェイクダンスでエナジーチャージすれば必殺技が出た
It's actually a clever risk-reward system because every attack drains that same meter. Run out of energy and you become dazed, left wide open until you recover or you get slapped out of it. It's surprisingly sophisticated for a game built on beefcake jokes and protein puns. Managing your meter discourages button mashing as well, which really does fulfill Cho Aniki's tradition of weird visuals with thoughtful gameplay mechanics. Each character also has command inputs for special moves, supers, and of course, the classic men's beam that every character can perform by mashing the X button. It hits like a truck, if it hits. If it doesn't, well, congrats! You just emptied your tank, and now you're floating helplessly like a big, beefy piñata. You also have a dash button for quick burst that you can use to get away if you see someone charging up a big attack. However, dashing also drains your gauge, so you need to be smart about where you go and what you're going to do when you get there. Blocked attacks do 0 damage, but blocking drains the special gauge too. A missed attack can leave you dazed and open if it doesn't land, provided your enemy has some power stored up. All of this dashing, blocking, dancing, and meter management leads to fights that last longer than they need to. It starts feeling like the game is padding things out to make up for its limited content. I'm not sure how I'd fix this problem. I mean, a timer would help, but then you'd have some clown land a men's beam and then run the clock like the Boreworm boss in Splatterhouse 3. So, what do I think? To be honest, I'm a little bit conflicted. The first two Cho Aniki games were bizarre but genuinely great shooters hidden beneath a glistening veneer of bronzed, oiled-up nonsense. They had personality and strong gameplay that offered up more than the spectacle of their own weirdness. Cho Aniki Bakuretsu Ranto-hen absolutely nails the presentation side. Its surreal backgrounds, lovingly detailed sprites, and quirky animation create an experience that is utterly dripping with baby oil.
What?
I meant charm. Charm. It's dripping with charm.
Yeah, right.
But charm alone can't carry a fighter. The power gauge, daze state, 0 damage blocks, and the attack, retreat, recharge, repeat rhythm all stretch the pacing to a crawl. This is not the strongest entry in the Cho Aniki lineup. A major insult to the citizens of Planet Builder, I know, but like a pulled hamstring, the truth hurts. That's why I'm giving Cho Aniki Bakuretsu Ranto-hen just 5 measly backgrounds out of 10.
Oh boy, mail.
Here comes a new challenger!
It's time for the RetroNick Mailbag, the part of the show where you get to be heard. Here's what you had to say about my report on the Lost Splatterhouse RPG Splatterworld. RNR Mailbag Hall of Famer Kron Higgins Poet remarks, Hey! I knew I could count on you to drop a very informative update. Holding out for the translation, which I hope doesn't get nuked. Shh! You want them to pick you up for ban evasion? Another return commenter, Dyer51, had some breaking news of his own, stating,
Thank you for the shout-out. I am peripherally involved with the translator, so you can bet I'll be posting news about it as soon as it's made public.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
And finally, version 43 closes us out with,
Your impression of me was spot on.
and as usual, I want to give a major shout out to my friends over at Retro Game Squad. While their show is on hiatus, you can still find a link to their active Discord community at retrogamesquad.com. While I'm at it, I'd love to plug friends of the show and RNR supporter Ray is Happy. Check out his daily, yes I said daily videos, chock full of fine arts tutorials, inspiration, and daily motivation. Go subscribe to him now on YouTube at Ray is Happy 1567, or you can follow him on X with the handle at Ray is Happy. Thank you so much for tuning in to RetroNick Relics. If you like this video, please be sure to slap those like and subscribe buttons, and tune in again to find out what I dig up next. I'm RetroNick.
And you'd be too if you were me.